The media workshop, organized by the Media Association of St. Kitts and Nevis, sponsored by the U.S. Embassy to Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean, and OACS, has been rated a success. The embassy supported a one-day workshop entitled Media and the Law on May 2nd, held at the conference facilities at Open Interactive. The workshop was designed to sensitize journalists and reporters in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis on the recent developments stemming from legislation and policies that impact the way reporters should perform their functions and increase awareness and understanding of how certain laws affect journalistic and media work and operations. Attorney General Garth Wilkin attended the workshop and delivered a keynote address during the opening ceremony. Also addressing the opening ceremony of the workshop was U.S. Embassy Public Affairs Officer Donald Maynard, who noted that the events provided an opportunity for journalists to discuss the state of press freedom, protection of journalists and citizens' rights to unbiased, accurate information.
As you look at the legal frameworks that impact your work, I also would like to encourage you to look at issues of misinformation and disinformation and how you, within your profession, can fight causes that try to sway the public with inaccurate reporting. It is much more important for you to research and document a story than it is to race to get it online before anybody else. We work with journalists around the world. It's one of the areas of work that I'm most passionate about. I don't always love the articles that I read in the newspaper, but I do love seeing good, accurate reporting that presents both sides of every story.
In the afternoon, a panel discussion was held on freedom of information legislation. Here are highlights from that session.
There's an absolute and very direct relationship between the accessing of information, of public information by citizens and the media, and freedom of the press and freedom of expression. In the Caribbean, we face several obstacles, though. They are both legal and I would say socio-cultural in nature.
I have been using the Access to Information Act now since I came back to Jamaica in 2012 from New York, where I was working in New York for Bloomberg Television. And since coming back, it has been my savior on so many fronts. You put in an access to information request, and by law, the different government agencies have to be able to respond to you within 30 days.
But without the mechanism by which you make a formal request and receive it, you are, at the mercy of the information god, so to speak. Will they smile on you today? Are you going to find the person that woke up on the right side of the bed? Or is the permanent secretary in a bad mood? Is he upset about a story that you wrote last week? And so, you really are at the mercy of all these different competing forces. And so I believe it's almost a miracle that some of us in these jurisdictions without the statutory framework are able to publish anything at all other than what I call it this happened today stories.
The majority of your day as a journalist here in St. Kitts is spent trying to get information, trying to get somebody to comment on something. There are times where you have a story, you know for a fact that this is the case, but you just can't prove it.
In a press release, the U.S. Embassy said the United States is committed to advocating for press freedom, freedom of information, and access to factual and accurate reporting provided by independent media, which is foundational to transparency and accountability in any democratic society. It sponsored other activities across the region leading up to World Press Freedom Day, May 3. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.